Now, let me kind of wet my clothes here a little bit. Uh, Now, after fleeing Pine Bluff, Arkansas, the year of 2000, early that year, I went to my brother's house, who was in Danville, Illinois, and I was telling him about my ordeal. But what I didn't know was the earth, the United States is so sinister. If a man doesn't have the fear of God in him and cling to God rather than me and vow to live for God and give his life for God, I don't care if he's your brother or sister or any of your relatives. They would do what the Antichrist would command them to do. Because the Antichrist is now flesh and blood, because the spirit have attached himself onto the flesh, and every time he requires some of the flesh, if that flesh appear death, he would answer to the call of the Antichrist first before he claimed to anything concerning God. We find this among many people. We don't consider this, but yes, it is. The man, if he's your brother, he will sit with you and he'll break bread with you daily, and he will live with you and he will cry with you, and he would act that he would die with you. But when the sinister measures come and demand that he turn his back against you and cling on his ways that he be killed, then he fear death. He would help set up an ambush for his brother, against his brother. This is what happened to me when I fled from Pine Bluff and went to Danville, Illinois. I fell in the hands of my brother, who I trusted from the youth, telling him my problem, but he was more he was more of a person of the world, and that way if the Antichrist, which is the governmental body of the United States of America, demanded he set you up or he spend the rest of his life in the penitentiary because he was a man of the world and certain things he did. Once he do this, once all the people become done something according to the world, then the Antichrist, which is in our law, embodied in our governmental body, that man your brother, your sister, set you up and fix it where you can be killed, they be killed, or put in prison and be killed, they're going to choose their life over you. There's nothing sacred about him when it comes down to making a choice between your life and his life. It doesn't matter if he's your brother. This is the way it was when I went to Danville, Illinois, to stay with his brother. Because of the lifestyle he lived, it put me in a predicament. And when there was I had an accident, and this white female, a young female, blew a stop sign and ran into the path of my truck and was broadsided. They had my brother help set me up by tearing up all the videos that I had took of the road before they taken and repaired the road. And the road they repaired had something to do with these rich white people that they had in Illinois, who the governmental body was paying to keep up the road, and by them not keeping up the road, it contributed to some of this accident. In other words, the man that was supposed to had kept up the road in Danville, Illinois, the government had gave him a contract, and this man had a travel agent in Costa Rica. So all of these, when they spoke and said, I know too much, and that I had to die, it didn't matter where I went, I had to die. That means that I had ran in a nest of organized crime. When I had to flee from Pine Bluff because of what they tried to do to me, because I seen too much there, And when I fled to Danville, Illinois, I had ran in a nest of organized crime, a network of organized crime. And they demanded my brother to help set me up, and he had to help set me up. And I told him, I said, this time I must flee from man, and I'm going to go out into the wilderness and stay with the wild preachers. I didn't want no money or nothing. I didn't care less for them. I never did. But I said I will flee from man and go out in the wilderness and stay with the beasts of the wild. This happened in 2002, July 2nd, until I found out I couldn't survive out there because there was nothing to eat. And I had got caught. They saw me out there. So all of this, but my brother, he was the one that had to help set me up. And after the hitmen ran me off the road that night in July 2002, as I fled for my life, they didn't get me. The only way they didn't get me because I had nothing to lose. I was passing a string of large vehicle trucks, and as I ducked in, then the oncoming traffic was come by me. This was the work of God helping me. But after I avoided that and went to Danville, Illinois, not Danville, Illinois, but Tampa, Florida, gets down there, they told me when I stopped that they was going to kill me. They put hitmen in the Veteran Medical Center to take my life there. And because one of the guys, who was a black guy they had put there, said, this time, Curly, we don't want you to get away. But when they saw me, I was escaping. The reason I'm saying this now, they told me before I left Danville, Illinois, I had to stop, and when they stopped, they was going to kill me. Now, I live in another city in Arkansas, but I still owned the home where they ran me from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. There is a name there at that house, next door to the house. The name is the man who lived there. His first or last name is Walters. Listen to this. Living next door to the house that I own, his name is Walters. First or last name. Isn't that just good? Because that is it. He pretends he's a neighbor watching the house over there, but I had never lived in the house since they fed me out of it, chased me out of that house after they firebombed my other house. Because I'm scared of the house, because they said when I stopped, they was going to kill me. Because I don't want to live at that house, because that's where they created sinister measures at in Pine Bluff to try to make the first attempt on my life and try to set up ambush. They shot me with one of them ray guns or whatever you call it, taser gun. It was no pistol. It was a better ray gun than the pistol because they shot me at a long distance where I knocked down them pot thing. They was trying to get me alive so they can exterminate me. The year of 1999. Now, why did I say this? I still own the house. The brother that helped set me up to try to get me out, get the hitman on me in Danville, Illinois, he had a stroke and had to move back there. And he lived there in Pine Bluff, and I let him make place food there because God is getting ready to kill America's food chain. So I let him place food there. But what happened is, this year in 2010, a person's name showed up on a check. I paid for a water bill at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and some person named Walters, another Walters, showed up on my account at my bank, came in with my check, but yet didn't have no number on it. But why is this man named Walters there, and there's another Walters that showed up on my account on a check? But I didn't go here because I got to let